Yo, what's up, rockers, and welcome to my game room tour. So, I've been collecting games for, oh my god, a long time now, and it's kind of crazy, but a lot of the stuff here I've acquired probably over a 10, 15-year span in all reality. I was really fortunate, and my parents did a really good job of almost forcing me to save my games when I was younger, which is awesome. So I ended up saving a lot of the games from when I was a kid. And a lot of the stuff I was able to add to the collection through acquiring lots, fixing and repairing consoles, modding consoles, and really just keeping the games along the way. So I just want to do a little quick tour over here so you guys can kind of see everything, and then we can get into a little bit of detail. But yeah, like I said, very lucky with the collection. Was able to acquire it for pretty much next to nothing. I mean, obviously I was able to acquire this when this stuff was much cheaper, unlike today's standard. But yeah, like I said, through modding and through repairing consoles and basically buying a bunch of broken lots on eBay, I was able to acquire a lot of this. I think I probably added most of my collection sometime in the 2014 to 2017 range, which is kind of when I went through and did a lot of this stuff. But anyway, just going to kind of show everything around over here. And yeah, let's kind of go take a step side by side so you can see every part of the game room. Things start off pretty simple. We've got a nice fridge and a 3D printer. This is the LEU Neptune 2. It's an excellent 3D printer, FDM, very inexpensive too. Stepping over here, I've got my retro setup. I've got a CRT. This is a consumer Sony Trinitron, circa probably 2001 if I recall. I can't remember the exact model off the top of my head. I'd have to take a look at it, but it works really well. We've got a nice JVC VHS player, which clearly needs cleaning. And down below, I've got hooked up to it a PC Engine, Super Nintendo, and a Sega Saturn. This is a Derby Sega Saturn, which is quite rare, actually. And then both the PC Engine and the Super Nintendo I've done videos on, previously on the channel. So I'll definitely post some links to those in the description below if you're interested in checking them out. And below that's just a nice subwoofer. We're going to come back to all the cabinets in a little bit. Long and short, all of these are hand-built. I built them with my dad and painted them and did all kinds of T-molding and all that other stuff. I'll probably share all the links for the files that I used to make these in the description, so if you're interested in trying to do it yourself, you can. And maybe we'll start with the next TV. This is my main setup over here, and it all is based off a 65-inch Vizio TV. And here's all the goods that are along with it. There's a lot going on here, so maybe we'll talk about what's going on here. So everything, all the consoles are run through HDMI. I don't use any video processors or anything like that. I used to use a FrameMeister. I still use it on occasion, but for the most part, I pretty much just stick to HDMI. And at the heart of it all is this nice Atlonia 16-in-1 switcher. As crazy as it sounds, I've got, I think, 12 HDMI consoles hooked up to this thing, so yeah, I definitely need the 16-port switcher on here, and it's really nice because it's got a remote, but maybe just take a look. We'll go from left to right and work our way through. First up, I've got the Nintendo Switch with, one thing you'll notice if it's not clear and obvious enough yet, almost every console in my collection has been modded in some way, shape, or form. So I've got a Nintendo Switch, and I've got the Game Boy adapter, which is modded, along with some nice modded Joy-Cons. Below that is a PS4 Pro. Next to that is a Spice Orange GameCube. This thing's been modded with both a GC loader as well as some LED mods, and of course the GBA player. A little bit further to the right, I've got two analog systems. One is the Super NT, and the other one is the Mega SG for playing all those Super Nintendo and Genesis games. And next to that, I've got a original Nintendo, and this has been modified with a HDMI mod, so it outputs via HDMI as well. Next row, got the receiver over here, which outputs sound. I should probably mention that from a sound perspective, I use all Klipsch audio. I'm very partial to Klipsch. I actually worked at one there I actually worked at Klipsch at one point, so I've got a lot of respect for their stuff. It sounds awesome, and it's pretty much exclusively what I use. So yeah, I've got a nice 5.1 surround sound system in here, and yeah, it works great. A little bit lower, I've got a N64, and this is rocking an Ultra HDMI mod. It actually is also RGB modded. It's got the blue retro setup over there with the Wi-Fi to allow it to work with the new N64 online controllers. It's really, really nice. Did a video on that recently as well, so I'll post a video to that also. Next to that is an OG Xbox. This is the one that I had growing up, and it still works great. It's been modified, of course, with a mod chip and a few other goodies. Next to that is a Sega Dreamcast. This one's been modified with the DC HDMI, and I'm part of me is tempted to do a shell swap on this one. I don't know. We'll have to see. You'll have to let me know in the comments below if you think that's something I should do. Going down a little bit lower, I've got a PS3. It's actually bone stock. Next to that, I've got a Wii and a Wii U, both soft modded. Next to that is an Xbox 360, and this one was actually modified by Mr. Mario 2011. Great YouTube channel. I'd recommend you check him out for sure. Further on, I've got this absolutely lovely Sega Saturn, and this one's been modified as well. Has an ODE in there, and obviously it has an absolutely gorgeous paint job. Pucho Magic and I worked on this one together, and I mean, honestly, it's got all the bells and whistles. It's a very, very impressive system. Down below and next to that is a PS1. This actually is unfortunately not hooked up right now, but it will be. We've got some goodies for that, including the PS1 digital and an ODE that I need to put in there. So probably expect a future video on that here pretty soon. Alright, maybe we'll take a quick look. We'll just pan all the way over, and we'll take a look over here. This is kind of like, I don't even know what I would call this area over here, but this is where I keep just a lot of the collectibles and things like that I've acquired over time. This is kind of like almost like the trophy shelf in a way. Just some of the really nice stuff that I've picked up over time, or that I've made. And of course a beach ball, because, you know, why not? But from left to right, this is the Tales of Symphonia Gamecube. This is the Japanese variant of it. It's a pretty rare cube. It also has, of course, the GBA player on it. Next is a custom Gamecube. This is one I actually made on the channel, so you can check out the video on it. It uses both a cube case as well as the cube mod chip. It's a very awesome console. And honestly, this is the exact mod that I was running back when these first came out. Next to that is a European Pearl Gamecube. Unfortunately, no GBA player for that. I don't know if one exists, to be honest. And down over here, we've got a Starlight Gold Gamecube, and this was exclusive to Japan. Next to that is a absolutely beautiful Metroid 4 inspired Gamecube. Pucho Magic and I worked on this one together, and we did make a video for it as well. It's just gorgeous. Over here, this is kind of a placeholder. We'll have to do a future video on this one. I'm going to build out that shell there. Going down a little bit lower, another Metroid themed controller. This one is Dread related, and I worked on this one with Pucho Magic as well. And I'll leave the video to this one in the card in the upper right hand corner. Another beautiful one. Going a little bit further over, I've got a Stormtrooper themed GameCube controller, and this one I worked on with Pucho Magic and King Curb 64, and actually it won us a competition, so that was kind of cool. And so yeah, I bought the commemorative stand for it as well, with the Stormtrooper holding it, because yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense. A little bit further over, this is a Game Boy DMG, and actually I modded that one for my wife and gave it to her. She was obsessed with Mario and the 6 Golden Coins, so had to get her that for her, and yeah, she thoroughly enjoys playing that still to this day. Below that, I've got a PS5 controller, and specifically a money PS5 controller. What's ironic about a lot of this stuff is I actually don't even own a PS5 yet. I still literally cannot find one to save my life, but nonetheless, I seem to own 3 or 4 controllers already. A little bit further over is just some Sega Saturn boxes. These are just some of my favorite games, so I just thought it would be fun to go ahead and display those. Further over, this is a Cyberpunk 2077 commemorative controller that Pujo Magic and I built. The game probably didn't turn out to be that good, but man, it had a lot of hype at the time, and I was really, really excited for it. Down below, pretty much just a placeholder with some amiibo for the time being. Next to that is this Harry Potter GameCube memory card and jewel. These things are pretty uncommon, to say the least, and to find one over here that's completely boxed and still in the shrink wrap is pretty uncommon, so I thought I would go ahead and display it here. Next to that's just a pretty basic Switch Pro controller. It's had some very minor modifications made to it, no big deal. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is just placeholders for future things that I'd, eventually will fill out here at some point. All right, so moving over to the first of our shelves. This is an NES themed shelf, and it contains a bunch of NES and N64 goodies along with some Game Boy stuff. Not much Game Boy stuff, but some. And maybe just to point out a few of my favorite things over here. For me, my favorite NES series, well, maybe not favorite, but some of the ones I really, really enjoy playing are going to be the Castlevania games. Dracula's Curse being probably top of list there. Really like Rescue Rangers, really like Contra, and really like DuckTales. I'd say those are probably some of my favorites from there. And obviously, I mean, it goes without saying, of course you like all the Mario games and stuff like that as well, but yeah, just kind of a look over there. Going down a little bit lower, you've got some of the Game Boy stuff. For me, I really kind of mentioned earlier the Mario and the 6 golden coins. Super Mario Land is a great game, and I really enjoy the Pokemon games. And so those are some of my favorite, I would say, that I have over here. Not too much Game Boy stuff, which is kind of surprising because I really enjoyed that back in the day. Going a little bit lower, I've got a bunch of N64 stuff. I've got a nice Japanese boxed unit, as well as Pokemon Snap and a Rumble Pack over here, as well as the EverDrive box. And I've got a bunch of VHS tapes that I think are just so cool. So I've held on to a bunch of those. Looking down below, got some of the games over here, including some of the boxes behind that I really, really like. Sin and Punishment being there. This is the Super Mario 64 with Rumble, which is nice. Wave Race, and I think it's Ocarina of Time over there. As far as kind of some of my favorite games on the N64, I mean, obviously Mario 64 is probably my favorite game, which is ironic because of course it's the first one to come out. Love Smash Bros for it. And then another one that I just played a ton of, which for whatever reason you can see it over here, it's NBA Hang Time. Absolutely loved that one growing up. And what's great about the N64 is a lot of this collection that you're seeing right now is actually what I had from when I was a kid. And the beauty of that is it's kind of made me appreciate what I had, and I haven't had to rebuy much of it as a result. Okay, moving forward, the next case over, Super Nintendo, and this case is probably, Super Nintendo's probably my largest collection. It's that or it's GameCube, I'm not sure which. But yeah, you can kind of see just a quick look at everything we got here. There's a lot. And part of what I really like about Super Nintendo is you've got both obviously Japanese games and obviously the US counterparts. But you can see I've got this entire top shelf is just pretty much dedicated to Super Famicom games, and tons of great games over here. I really like it. Probably my favorite part about the Super Famicom is I love the box art. Like the box art on these things are just like so beautiful and look so good. I think they look so much better than the Super Nintendo counterparts. Dropping down, I did originally have like all my games in these like style boxes, but I realized pretty quickly they take up too much room. So I kind of migrated to these. I don't even know what you want to call them, but they're just basically trays. It's kind of how I would look at them. And all the games are in alphabetical order, so I can easily kind of just flip through, find what I'm looking for, and go play it. Man, Super Nintendo was the first console I ever owned, and to say that I love it is probably an understatement. It's probably the console that I am single-handedly the most nostalgic for. And of course, we're passing up tons of games that I just absolutely loved. All these Donkey Kong boxes that you're seeing here, those are all mine from when I was a kid. A lot of the boxes that you're seeing for the box games, those are actually mine from when I was a kid. So it's always good to still have some of those. But I love the Donkey Kong series, love Super Mario World. Contra 3 is probably the best Contra. I know that's probably a statement people might argue with me about, but Super Mario All-Stars, love that game as well. There's this one right here, Super Batter Up. Absolutely played that a ton as a kid. Loved baseball growing up, so made a lot of sense. Turtles games are great. Tournament Fighters being probably my favorite of the Turtle games, which not many would say, but I will. Looking down below, we've got some more, obviously, boxes with Super Famicom games in the back. And some more games over here. Also really enjoy the Castlevania games. I guess I got to say that as well. Love the Castlevania games on Super Nintendo. And just again down here, we've got some more VHS tapes. Always good. We've got Super Mario All-Star box from when I was a kid, and just maybe a few other random knickknacks and whatnot. Didn't talk about Super Metroid. Ooh, that's regrettable. Love Super Metroid. I've got both the Super Famicom version and the Super Nintendo game because I just enjoy it that much. It's a great game, and man, did Metroid Dread ever make me feel good. Just so reminiscent of Super Metroid. All right, stepping over, we got Wii U, and I went a little ham on Wii U, I'm not gonna lie. At one point, I actually contemplated whether it would be worth it to get the full collection. Ultimately, I ended up deciding not to, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I got pretty close. So the Wii U to me is really important, and the reason why is because I went through a period of time where I didn't do much gaming. I ended up getting a Wii U randomly, and I loved it, and it kind of sucked me back in. We all go through phases where, you like things and you don't like things, and I always liked gaming, but I just kind of fell out of it for a little bit, and it was actually the Wii U that brought me back in, which is ironic because most people consider it not a great system, but I gotta tell you something, it's a lot of fun. I actually really like the controller, and I really like a lot of the games. I mean, I've played through almost all of these, and they're great. They really, really are. Probably some of my favorite games for the system are, let's see, love NES Remix. Like, that was so much here. That was so much fun. And that kind of like rejuvenated my vibes for retro gaming after I played that. Obviously love Super Smash Brothers. That was great. Splatoon was great. Super Mario 3D World was a ton of fun. Played that with the kids. Same thing with Super Mario Maker. We had a lot of fun with that. Going up a little bit higher, if we want to go back up here, obviously loved the Lego City Undercover game. That was actually a lot of fun. Yeah, just a lot of great games. Bayonetta was great. Yeah, totally forgot about Bayonetta. Played both those. DuckTales Remastered, another great game. We talked about DuckTales earlier, so really enjoyed that. All right, just pivoting over now. Next up is Gamecube, and my Gamecube collection is a little ridiculous. Just a little ridiculous. So it's probably, at one point I thought I might go for the complete GameCube collection as well, and it would have been pretty impressive if I was able to pull it off, but ultimately I abandoned ship, thank God. It's just too many games. But man, there are some really good ones here, and I'm very, very fortunate. Like, I mean, this entire top rack is pretty ridiculous, to be honest. I'm just, like I said, very fortunate to have been able to get a lot of these, and honestly, I got a lot of them before they were expensive. And that's just, I mean, that's just so lucky, you know. Here, like that's a CIB copy. This is like a $250 game. You know, I mean, it's just lucky. I paid nothing for that. Some other really cool things. I've got a few other, collectibles over here. This is a Japanese WrestleMania game, and it's actually awesome because it comes with a Stone Cold Steve Austin mug. Really cool, not gonna lie. I got the Japanese Game Boy player, Japanese copy of Mario Party 6. Had to go get at least a couple GameCube controller boxes. I've had them throughout, but this one is an indigo and clear, and I absolutely just had to have it because, well, let's be honest, the clear controller shells have been something I've always sought after a lot. Nice indigo box over here, and we've got some Switch stuff, which we're going to get to here in a minute. As far as favorite games go on the GameCube, oh man. Honestly, there's just so much along this top rack. It's hard to even choose, but I do enjoy playing Melee. F-Zero GX might be like my favorite game. It's such a good game. I wish another F-Zero game would come out. Mario Golf is great. The Zelda games are great. Mario Kart is amazing. As a matter of fact, like, my kids and I have played so much Mario Kart Double Dash that when they play other versions of the game, they actually don't believe it's the real version of the game. To them, Mario Kart Double Dash is truth. Going a little bit lower, a bunch of PlayStation stuff. Not I guess maybe not. I shouldn't say a bunch. It's not too much. I've got a couple of rows of PlayStation stuff. I do enjoy playing the PlayStation games, but and I did have a PS1 growing up, but I don't have a lot of nostalgia for it. So, and while I still do play and enjoy it now, it's just not something that I spend a ton of time on. Below that is Switch. So many good Switch games. I really enjoy playing the Switch. Been playing with my kids a lot. We've been playing Paw Patrol recently, which I wouldn't recommend anyone do, but hey, it's fun to play with them, and that's all that matters. But some of the games I've been really enjoying on this, and I would highly recommend. The Mario games have been great. I really like the Street Fighter games on here. I really liked, the Street Fighter 2, The Final Challenge. I really liked that. Another one that I really, really liked on here was Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I thought that was great. And then obviously Breath of the Wild is a must-play. Going a little further over, we'll get this last case. Again, just some collectibles on top. Sega Saturn themed. I love the Saturn. Love it. It's like a fine wine. It came a little later in life that I acquired it, started playing it, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So at the very top, I've got actual Sega Saturn US games, along with some Genesis games. And below that, I've got some Japanese games. And the Japanese Saturn, to me, is where it's at. Like, this is my favorite part of the Sega Saturn. And probably my favorite game series that's on here is gotta be, let's see, here we go. Got it the wrong way, but I can still read in Japanese. There we go. Vampire Hunter. The Vampire games are so much fun. So much fun. And I always debate whether my favorite one's Vampire Hunter or this one right over here, which is Vampire Savior. I love them both. I think they're a lot of fun. I'm probably better at Vampire Hunter, but I really, really enjoy them. Some Genesis games over here, along with some Game Gear games, including this lovely blue Game Gear, which I got from Do You Nerd. Thank you, guys. And then I've got some Pokemon cards over here. I like Pokemon, but I like actually playing the game. Like collecting cards is great, but I actually really enjoy playing the game. To me, that's probably the most fun part of Pokemon. Down below, I've got some OG Xbox. I've got a lot of love for the OG Xbox, and a lot of games I really enjoyed playing for this. Some of the ones I'll just give some quick call-outs to. I got Conquerors over here, Live and Reloaded. I can't get it out. I can't get my fat finger in there, but yeah, great game. Really enjoyed that. Another one that like no one really talks about is this one right here. Had this in college, played it a ton. It's just called Rally Sport Challenge. It's a cheap game. I mean, I paid $3 for it. I mean, it's a great game though. A lot of fun. Played that a ton in college and really enjoyed it. And then obviously, I mean, it goes without saying, but Halo, Halo 2, these have seen just tons and tons of action. As for the 360, really loved playing this as well. And for me, it just, you know, maybe controversial statement, maybe not, but it has the best Halo game, which is Halo 3, in my opinion. That's the best one. Just absolutely loved it. And probably another game that I would go ahead and recommend over here. Obviously, Bayonetta's a great one. We talked about that a little bit. I also really enjoyed like Lost Planet and the original Crackdown games. I thought the original Crackdown game, I should say. Some of the other ones weren't as great, but the original Crackdown's a really good game too. But yeah, that's my game room tour for 2021. And who knows? Always room for some improvements to be made and change things up a little bit in the future. But yeah, this is kind of my my haven to go down to, relax after a long day at work, play with the kids. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what any changes you think I should make, or if you got any game recommendations. I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, anyway guys, I'll catch you for the next one here soon.